Peace and unity define our primordial foundation on which Kenya has stood in defining its nationhood and creed. And as Kenyans head for elections in August 2022, we must be driven by clear conscience to vote for peace and national unity. Kenyans are firm believers in cohesive society, and this is the reason many of our great leaders and Kenyans of all walks have consistently paid homage in song and dance, our collective strength arising from our melting pot of cultural diversity. Peace is the embodiment of our collective hope, zeal, and desire to build a greater common good for Kenyans. As Kenya goes to the polls later this year, every Kenyan must remember that elections are transient, but Kenya remains. We must therefore stand on guard to protect unity and together in diversity. As a country, we can collectively go far when we all embrace peace and national unity as part of the ongoing political campaigns during and even after the 2022 polls. We remember that the year 2018 remains focal in our history because it reminds us of greatness of a republic among the community of nations when we rose above parochial politics to concert our efforts to building national peace and unity. We must all think in reflection of President Kenyatta's consistent call for national unity and peace. In the famous words of our national anthem, "May we dwell in unity that endures all Kenyan generations. Unity is the pedestal of our collective effort to build better and stronger society." Good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us. The show is a Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ugotu, and as usual, it's always a pleasure to have you on board. I'll take us through the headlines, and then we will have a conversation based on some of the stories that are on the newspapers this morning. We start with the Standard newspaper. The main headline, warning signs of supreme battle, leading presidential contenders are flagging issues that could compromise a free and fair poll and are actively documenting them in what is seen as gathering evidence that could come in handy if they find themselves challenging the outcome at the Supreme Court. The story is on page 6. The death trap beneath the expressway. The story is on page 20. Food crisis as maize price go up. That is on page 23. UK asylum seekers fly to Rwanda. That is on page 30. And why Gore AFC are in trouble. You'll find that on the sports pages on page 46 and 45. Tough times as petrol hits 160 Kenya shillings a litre. That is on page 26. The Daily Nation, the main headline, in 100 days, same old story. From a hustler fund to Babacare livestock insurance and the automation of revenue collection, William Ruto and Raila Odinga are promising revolutionary economic and social protection measures in their first 100 days in office that, in their audacity of hope, look good on paper and have the potential to change for the better the livelihoods of millions who have been caught in a poverty time warp. Kenyans have been here before, and many are wondering whether the rhetoric and promise could ever find life outside the postures of the political class. The story is on page 12 and 13. 240,000 Kenya shillings withdrawal that gave way Away Rongai robbery prime suspect. The story is on page 3. 2 voters want Wavinya locked out on fake degree. 2 petitioners are arguing in court that Wiper candidate in the Machakos gubernatorial race presented questionable qualifications from London School. The story is on page 7. Fuel prices hit record highs. In latest review, prices of petrol, diesel and kerosene jump by 9 shillings a litre, setting the stage for further increases in the cost of living at a time when inflation has hit a 27-month high. That is on the back page, and today the Daily Nation is focusing on Siaya County. A race to succeed Rasanga reduced to a 2-horse contest, pitting Gumbo of UDM against ODM's Orengo. And then we see Raila Odinga and their promises, and William Bruton. Perhaps we shall look at some of that. The Star newspaper, Kalonzo refers to Uhuru case in Sonko defense. Wiper boss says though removed, Mike hasn't exhausted appeals. Page 6 on the Star newspaper's Rongai woman recounts how deal of horror. That is on page 2. Financial black hole report reveals how Treasury borrowed 3 billion Kenya shillings per day for a year. Okay, that is on page 4 and 5. And Sudanese refugee 32 son admitted to primary school in Eldoret town. Okay, that is some good news there on page 3. Kalro moves to boost dwindling population of Sahiwal cattle in Narok. That is on page 10. So let me see if I can have some other news from across the continent. I go through the headlines very quickly, and then we get on with the topics of today. We start with the Daily Telegraph. Rwanda deportation blocked by European judges, and I think the first flight already arrived in Rwanda. And the Guardian, still from the UK, European ruling throws Rwanda plan into chaos. And then a Daily Monitor from Uganda, MPs get 40 million Ugandan shillings each in fresh budget deal. And then New Vision, still from Uganda, budget 2022-2023, what your district got, and it's broken down there. The Punch from Nigeria, CA and others warn parties as Buhari meets governors. PDP names Atiku's VP on Thursday. The Guardian, still from Nigeria, running mate, PDP to unveil Wike, Buhari, Palace, APC governors. The Nation from Nigeria, Democracy Day season, a letter to Nigerians by Muhammadu Buhari. I'll be interested to read this letter. Remember, Nigeria was celebrating 23 years of of democracy in their country. Remember, for a long time it had a military rule. So on Sunday actually marked 23 years of democracy. I don't know how much they have perhaps gained as a country. So this is a letter by the current President Muhammadu Buhari. I'll get a hold of it and read it. And that is what is on the front page of the Nation. And the Herald, Zimbabwe moves to COVID-19 self-testing, and Sikala arrested at CCC Guns torch homes. And then Daily News from Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF review bears fake cells. A news day from Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF CCC youths in running battles. And Daily News from Tanzania, cost-cutting budget. The Citizen from Tanzania, we've heard you. And I guess the government has outlined measures that will be taken in the coming financial year to contain the spiraling cost of living, fueled primarily by a rise in global oil demand and disruptions in key supply chains. And so there we are. East African countries, we normally have our budgets over in June, but Kenya, we had ours this year earlier because of the elections that are upcoming. So that is what we have in the Kenyan, and some newspapers from across Africa and a few from the UK. I'm joined this morning by Douglas Kirimi from Meru County. Douglas, thank you for joining us, and a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, to our crew at our headquarters in Nairobi, and also to my co-panelist, Gradual Keragu, and to our friends across the world that are watching us. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they are watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show, Miriam.
It is a pleasure, Douglas. Thank you so much. We're also joined by Gladwell Keragu from Nairobi. Gladwell, good morning to you.
Very good morning to you, Miriam. Very good morning to you, Douglas. Good morning to our viewers.
All right. right, very well. So, of course, we will start with the headline on the Star newspaper. And I think we've been having this discussion here, especially Gladwell, I'm sure you can remember, after those 241 names were presented to the IEBC by the EACC. There's a section, actually, of some Kenyans who had some names, based on people who were aspirants who had some cases. Others had issues to do with integrity, and they felt as though they have not met the threshold of what Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity requires of them. So some civil society, they got some names, and then there's a certain number of names, 241 from the EACC, that out of the many names that IBC had forwarded to the EACC to do some background check and clear them on the same, based on the same chapter of the Constitution. And the EACC said these 241 people do not meet the threshold. They have issues when it comes to integrity and them running for a public office. But IBC, in its wisdom, cleared a lot of these people anyway, and we thought this will bring a problem, but except for Mike Sonko, who has been denied that opportunity. So now, the Star newspaper, the main headline, Kalonzo refers to Uhuru case in Sonko defense. I don't know how these two cases even compare, but let's find out what Kalonzo now is saying. The story is on page 6 on the Star newspaper. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has said impeached former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko should not be barred from the Mombasa governor race. In a spirited defense of Sonko's political career, Kalonzo maintained the former governor has not exhausted his appeals as he has a case before the Supreme Court, thus has the right to vie. The IEBC Dispute Resolution Committee will hear the matter today at 11 a.m. In defending Sonko, Kalonzo cited President Uhuru Kenyatta, Deputy President William Ruto, who were elected in 2013, even when they faced crimes against humanity charges at the International Criminal Case. The cases collapsed after their election. So President Uhuru Kenyatta and DP William Ruto, among other Kenyans, there were 6, were charged with this, but they were not convicted. But Sonko has been impeached. Is there, does Kalonzo has some point in how he's drawing comparisons in these two cases? Douglas, you can start us off.
Thank you, Miriam. I do not believe that Sonko should be barred from running for office, Miriam, because Sonko was impeached as a governor of Nairobi. But the problem is the same Electoral Commission of Kenya, the IBC, has cleared Major John Waruke of Sirisia constituency, who is a convicted economic crimes suspect, and he was sentenced to prison. And also, I need to wrap my mind around so many people who have also failed the integrity question test based on Chapter 6 of our Constitution. And when you look at what is happening across the country, we have had governors who are cleared to run as senators, MPs, and all that, and they have run their counties dry for the last 10 years, Miriam. When you tell us Sonko, who has not been able to exhaust his appeal channels, that he should not be cleared to run for office, whereas a person that ran down the National Serious Board and also ran away with a lot of money and made sure that the lives of farmers in this country is unbearable, is fit to run for another term as an MP. It's a joke of the century, Miriam. I also believe that there is no correlation between President Uhuru Kenyatta's case and what Kalonzo is doing on Mike Sonko's case. Mike Sonko was impeached as the governor of Nairobi of abuse of office and corruption charges, but President Uhuru Kenyatta was taken to the ICC on Trump Club charges of displacement of people and also destruction of property and rape and other cases that the other charges that were taken to ICC over President Uhuru Kenyatta. You cannot be able to draw the same comparison, especially on the Mike Sonko's issue. What I believe is, Miriam, and I stand to be corrected, is that Mike Sonko has not done more evils than Sirisia MP, Major John Waruke, who has even then on a Jubilee ticket. There are governors in this country, Miriam, even for the last 5 years and the last 10 years, who have stolen so much from so many people. And I believe truly from my heart, Miriam, that this Mike Sonko issue, this Mike Sonko issue, compared to what other people have been able to do, economic planner of our country, they have been able to run morals down in these counties, financial morals in these counties, Miriam. And I believe that from the deepest parts of my heart, that Mike Sonko deserves to be taken back and given an opportunity to run for office as he appeals his impeachment at the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya, Miriam. When you get us a convicted criminal, economic criminal, an economic saboteur in the name of Major John Waruke, Miriam, it doesn't help us, doesn't help the people of Kenya, and we need to tell each other the truth, Miriam. A time has come for us to be able to call a spade a spade. IBC is not technically prepared to run this election, Miriam, and I believe Wafula Chebukati should have left office over the last 2 years, Miriam. We've been calling for his resignation as the chairman of the IBC. He has said himself for over 2 years that he is not technically prepared. If you can buy Sonko, who has not even exhausted his appeal channels, he has a case at the Supreme Court, and then you allow a convicted criminal to run. And there are so many economic criminals who are running around, Miriam, as governors, senators, and also some who want to stand as MCAs. We've seen so many of them, Miriam, who are going to be cleared by IBC and given the green light to go ahead and run in this election. But Mike Sonko case, why is Sonko being treated, especially the other criminals like Sonko, in court, because Sonko is a suspect? He has taken his case at the Supreme Court, Miriam. There are so many people out there who are in the category of Mike Sonko, but IBC has given them preferential treatment, Miriam. I would like to see.
Douglas, speaking about, you brought up a serious member of parliament, and I think we've been having trouble even, and a lot of Kenyans have been in trouble understanding how IBC could clear, John Waluke, as much as he does have an appeal, but he still stands convicted. He's supposed to be somewhere in jail, serving term, isn't it? That has not been overturned, even as much as his appeal process is still continuing, but he's still convicted. He stands guilty as charged until that is overturned. And for Azimio, a party that is running on a platform of change and fight against corruption, isn't it hypocritical that they would have such a character as part of the people that is running on their coalition?
Miriam, I also believe, including because I always speak my heart, including if John Waruke controls the whole of Bungoma County or Sirisia constituency and tells them, please vote for Raila, he is protecting me, or he's going to protect me when I win my seat back and all that. Miriam, that is a man who is out on board. He's supposed to be in committing prison. That is a man who was convicted for stealing millions of shillings from farmers of the Republic of Kenya. People in Uasin Gishu, people in Western Kenya are crying because Major John Waruke and the sister to the mother to Ambassador Judy Wahungu stole millions of shillings from the people of Kenya, which was meant to pay their maize dues and also fees that they had taken their maize to the National Serious Board. And they also made sure that they took that route. They supplied air to the National Serious Board and they stole that money from the people of Kenya, Miriam. It is hypocritical for Jubilee Party that we love, my party, to go ahead and clear a convicted criminal who is out on bail to make sure that he goes ahead and also run in election. Miriam, I don't believe the Right Honorable Raila Odinga would have the audacity to go and stand in Bungoma or Sirisia constituency and tell the people that I'm going to fight corruption, I'm going to fight stealing in my government. My government is going to stand on an anti-corruption platform because they know their member of parliament is a convicted criminal. He is out on bail, Miriam. And we need to also tell our Jubilee Party the truth. They should not have cleared John Waruke. John Waruke would have been cleared by any other party, but not Jubilee Party, which is an affiliate party, actually a major shareholder in the Azimio la Umoja coalition. And even the right honorable Raila Odinga, I've seen him parade Major John Waruke in his political meetings. I think that is a political question that he is not politically correct to have done that.
It's not even a political question. I think at this point it's a moral question. I mean, how serious are you in the fight against corruption? And I'll come back to you. But I also want us to bring the voice of Gladwell into this conversation. Gladwell, a very good morning to you. Now, Wiper now is citing the clearance of Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke, who was cleared to seek re-election though he has a pending criminal case on appeal. Waluke was convicted in July 2020 for 297 million Kenya shillings fraud and sentenced to 10 years in jail. He later lodged an appeal and was granted bond pending and determination of the appeal. I don't know if this newspaper has quoted the right years, because the last we checked, it was not 10 years. It was a lot of years that Waluke got. But anyway, and you know, the party in its affidavit, that is Wiper Party, says the refusal to clear Sonko on account of breach of Chapter 6 of the Constitution on integrity is a matter on appeal. So if these others that the EACC cited, and as I've said, this is something we've talked about here so much, said they're not supposed to run on Chapter 6, but EACC cleared them, IEBC cleared them. But Sonko, still using the same chapter, is barred from running. Does Wiper has a reason to go and challenge this decision by IEBC, Gladwell?
Miriam, here I support Sonko now, because there is no way the rest could be allowed to go and contest for whatever positions they want. And then Sonko was denied. And Miriam, do you know why Kenya, we will never be able to fight corruption? It's because we, the leaders themselves, can't stand up and say that now let us end corruption. The same leaders are the same leaders vying for the same position and are actually clinging to these top position leaders. Somebody like Waluke, he has been always here with Raila here and there. How do you expect that Raila will stand and say, now I'm going to this county to say not corruption? Yet the person who is addressing is behind his veil. There's no way it can happen that way. So, and again, Miriam, Sonko is running under governor and Wiper. So yes, Kalonzo has actually a say here to go and challenge IEBC. And again, Miriam, there's something I always need to understand, because we've been having this topic between EACC and IEBC, which has more power, because there's no way you can say EACC say that they are not supposed to be cleared, then IEBC goes ahead and clears them. How and why? You see, that's why Kenya corruption will always be paramount. Because Miriam, for example, something like Uhuru and NYS scandal, we know that money was stolen, and the person who stole the money is also a governor. How do you expect now that will go to Kirinyaga and say no to corruption? The person who you are saying say no to corruption is in government. There is no way it can't work that way. We need to say no to corruption when the person is actually out of government, impeached, the same way they did to Sonko and the same way they did to Aitito. Can they do the rest? Can they also do the same to those others? That is how we will make Kenya to be free out of corruption.
Okay, thank you so much. And in law, there's something called public interest. You'll find that a lot of times when these judges are ruling on matters, they will say, in the best interest of the public, this and this and that. So in the best interest of the public and in line with Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, Douglas, what perhaps would have been the best thing for IEBC to do?
Miriam, we've said that for us to progress as a nation, and I think that is what Gradual was saying, for us to progress as a nation, we need to also look at two issues. How do we deal with the issue of corruption, and how do we deal with it systematically and slowly, and we don't have to wake up in the morning and overhaul the whole system, Miriam, because there will always be legal encumbrances or maybe legal loopholes for these people to always make a comeback. Miriam, trust you me, there are so many cases in this country that the people are going to make it back as a governance, and there's senators who are economic crimes suspects in this country who have been rooting our country. But we also need to also be very lenient to Mike Sonko. When we are told that if you have not exhausted your legal appeals channels, you can be able now to run for a political office, that is a legal loophole that someone can make a comeback. Mike Sonko, Mike Sonko should have been given an opportunity to come back. Secondly, if Mike Sonko is given an opportunity to come back, then systematically in the course of 5 years, we can be able to correct that. And that's why I was asking, I was asking that BBI to come back so that we can be able to correct some of these issues in our constitution, Miriam. Remember, a constitution is supposed to serve the interest of the people of Kenya for and behalf of the people of Kenya. Remember that the people of Kenya are supreme to that constitution. The constitution of the Republic of Kenya cannot supersede the interest and the choices and the aspirations of the people of Kenya. It's in the preamble of our constitution that this constitution shall be able to work for the people of Kenya. Either directly they can exercise the powers in that constitution directly or indirectly through elected representatives. Miriam, if from my heart, I feel that we need to correct a few issues in our constitution so that we do not create these legal loopholes that people are using to come back to power. We need to correct those two issues, Miriam. Deal with it systematically or slowly, Miriam. Secondly, we need to be able to deal with these issues once and for all because corruption is a pandemic in our nation and it's not going to go away today if we do not act, one, by sealing every legal loophole that criminals can use to come back to power. Like Waruke just takes a boat, goes out there, applies to Jubilee Party, he is picked, goes to IBC, is cleared, and he comes here a suspected, a convicted criminal, not even a suspected criminal, Miriam, who has stolen hundreds of millions of shillings from the National Serious Board. And Miriam, you know that we as a people and as a country, we are not going to do any, we are not going to make any progress as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. And as long as the integrity test chapter is in the Constitution, in the chapter 6 of our Constitution, Miriam, we will not adhere to that chapter until we make it elaborate that we want to fight corruption systematically and we want to weed it out completely, Miriam. Mike Sonko is out there in the cold. John Waruke is in having stolen hundreds of millions of shillings. But Mike Sonko, who has been accused of abuse of office, is out here, Miriam, and probably is in the cold. Miriam, we need to do better as a country.
All right. And another candidate, gubernatorial candidate from Wiper, still has certificates under question, and the stakes are high for Wiper as Wavinya is also facing a petition challenging her academic qualifications. The law requires that candidates seeking to be elected governor must hold a university degree from a university recognized in Kenya. Voters Gideon Ngewa and Kisilu Mutisia says there are inconsistencies in Wavinya's degree certificate, which calls into question its validity and authenticity. Lawyer Peter Wanyama, who is acting for the voters, asked the committee to revoke the Wiper candidate's clearance to run, saying she has no degree as required. Wavinya submitted for clearance a degree in computing studies from South Bank University in London, which she says she obtained on July 18, 1995. Wanyama argued there was no way the Machakos governor candidate would have been awarded a master's degree in 1992 before a bachelor's degree 3 years later. The father claimed there was no record to prove she studied in the UK. So apparently she got her master's in 95. No, she got her master's in 92, and then she got her bachelor's degree in 95, so the other way around. It's very interesting. So even as we look at this, because I think a lot of people now, from the few cases that we've seen being exposed, goes ahead to perhaps expose the underbelly of the faulty criteria IEBC has used to clear some of these candidates. So what does this say over the quality of a leadership that we might have in these offices? And what is your thoughts on this, Gladwell?
Miriam, I'm actually liking the way IEBC, for the first time I agree with IEBC on something most about the qualification. I mean, in terms of education, you know why, Miriam? Because in these offices currently, we've come to realize that most of these people in office...
But Gladwell, IEBC had cleared her. It is a voter who went to challenge, yeah.
Yes, Miriam, that's why I'm saying the way IBC now, yes, IBC cleared, but under what condition now? You can see that there's no way, Miriam, you can have, I don't know if, I have never had somebody having a master's, then you go back to have a degree. No, it's supposed to be a degree, then a master's. So you can see now what you can say about IBC now here, it's becoming, it's like, it's a favor they're doing to somebody and somebody, because you can see like somebody like Sakaja has gone through hell for him to get cleared, but you can see like Ovinya was cleared. How? So IBC also needs to be accountable to some of these things.
Sakaja was cleared, remember. It is some other voters, some people who went to challenge that. IBC, according to IBC, they had cleared them. So the process in which IBC is clearing these people, Douglas, perhaps you would attempt to answer this question. Does it not expose the underbelly of a very faulty process as it is?
Miriam, I have a small problem with the constitution, our constitution the way it is today. The constitution of the Republic of Kenya says that for you to run as a governor in the Republic of Kenya, you need a degree. You need a degree. It has to be certified that this degree comes from Kenyatta University, Mount Kenya University, whatever university that is accredited to offer those programs, and they do not say what process do you have to use to get that degree. So long as you sat in a class for 4 years or 3.5 years, whatever it takes, whether it is a theology degree, whatever it is, please get a degree and go and get cleared. If they certify that that degree is...
Koea, the Commission for University Education has the mandate, also plays a part here, and it's the one which is supposed to contact these universities or these learning institutions to verify if this person truly went to that school. So I think it is also failing in this regard. But go ahead, sorry, I interfered.
Yes, Miriam.
Yes.
And if Koea comes today and says that Douglas Bundi Keremi has a degree from Kenyatta University, from the University of Nairobi, and they certify that I did everything that it pertains for me to be awarded a degree certificate, then I will use that degree, whether it is a theology degree, whether it's a mechanical engineering degree, whatever it is. If Wavinya Deti, I saw her share photos of her graduation many years ago as a young girl and all that. If Wavinya Deti today comes to the fore and says that I have a degree and this degree has been certified from this university and that university, the law does not tell us the path, so that we should prove the path to how we got that degree. If Wavinya qualified for a degree program and she has been cleared for that and she has that degree, Miriam, there's nothing that stops the IBC from certifying that Wavinya Ndeti should come to Machakos and ask for votes from the Machakos residents and run as governor of Machakos. Number two, I've had so many people talk about that, but the law does not even give us that you have to prove this and this and this and this. Everyone that is checking those things, if your degree has qualities, that is when they have to prove the path that you used to get a degree. And we all know, Miriam, that in this country or anywhere in the world, including those that did not qualify for a degree program directly, if you add a grade, a diploma, a grade that qualifies you for a diploma, you can get a diploma. Then after diploma, you can be able now to upgrade to a degree. And that's where the law makes it very clear for us to be able to come here and tell you that you need a degree. But the law does not tell us to prove even a path on how you got that degree. If Kukwea comes today and certifies that Douglas Bundi Keremi has a degree, Miriam Ogutu has a degree, Graduate Keragu has a degree, that is it. And we need to also prove a part of your academic processes. You went to school this time and completed this time, and this is the period you stayed in school. These are the units that you did. These are your transcripts and all that. If we prove the path of your education, that is when now QA or IBC can be able to now approve you or maybe certify you to run as a governor of a particular county. But the law says that they need a degree. And that is it, Miriam. And that's where Wavinya comes in. That's where someone else comes in. But if your degree is questionable, you have to go ahead and prove your point, prove where you paid your school fees the first time, the second time, and all that. And at the end of the day, Miriam, all these people have been cleared because they presented a degree. Nobody proved the path of the education. Only when your degree is questionable. Even Wavinya Ndeti, if she says she has a degree from the UK,
Yes.
she has to prove that she went to the
had her
UK.
master's first before she had her bachelor's. That the end justifies the means. Okay.
She'll prove that, Miriam, but the IB said you have to have a degree. That is it.
Yeah, the Constitution says that.
She might win that complaint, Miriam, because at the end of the day,
if she can show,
you need a degree.
If she can, have the transcripts and all that to show that she indeed
you
had
need
it.
a degree.
Yeah.
You need a degree. That is it, and you are good.
So it does not matter. Degree. It does not matter how you got that degree as much as the end justifies.
You need a degree.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying we need to come in now and also say that you have to prove the path of your academic prowess. You have to prove
are in question.
How you got your degree.
I hear you. All right. I think you're joined by Dr. David Matanga from the other side. Doctor, very good morning to you. Okay. So as we wait for Dr. Yes.
Good morning. Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I was still assembling my things, but you have caught me off guard. How are you, all of you? I think I buy Kirimi's reasoning today. Very nice. Look at this. This constitution is the problem. The constitution of Kenya has a lacuna. Miriam, it doesn't matter. It doesn't specify what type of degree. You can even get a degree in grave digging if you have a degree in grave digging.
We seem to be having
presented to the IEBC bias in design and grave. I'm listening.
Yes, we seem to be having a problem with your connection again today.
Are you sure you're not hearing me? Oh, because the microphone is very far. Are you now hearing me properly?
Your internet is not at its best again, but we can.
No.
Yeah, but go ahead.
My internet again. When I'm actually hammering very good points.
Yes, well, we can hear your voice. Go ahead. Okay. Very well. We are having a bit of some challenges there with the connection of Dr. Matanga, but once that has been able to be worked out.
Now, okay. Miriam, this thing is becoming very interesting. I don't know why my internet is going down, up, down, I don't know. They're interfering with it, but it's okay.
But Doc, before you continue, for Wavinya Ndeti, it's very easy because she says she went to school in the UK, so they could just go to the British embassy and perhaps through them get the student number that you talk about here. It's easier to trace her.
Exactly.
It's easier to get that.
There is quite a lot of malice going on also. And this is one of the questions that we have been asking ourselves in the morning show today. That why do you clear a person last year and that the same papers you have in your custody in the data bank, you are the ones you are rejecting this year? Wavinya's problem could be coming from opponents who want her down. But if she has, you see, if in the UK, if she has done several degrees, several diplomas, like you have 5 diplomas, Miriam, you can go to the master's degree straight. You don't necessarily need a degree. 5 diploma, 10 diplomas. You don't need a degree. They are enough. It means you are passed beyond. You can write your masters, and then from your masters, combine these diplomas, write your PhD. Arrange your ideas of what you did.
So you're telling us the fact that she got her master's before she got her bachelor's, that is supposed to make sense?
No, which one? No, but they have said she has no bachelor's.
She got her master's in 1992, and then she got her bachelor's in 1995, and that lies the contention. It's very complicated, Doc, I tell you.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Not very complicated. If she has those certificates,
she could have gone straight to her master's.
If she has those diplomas, yes, she can come back. For example, now, I can come back and have another degree.
Yeah.
Another graduate degree. I have just done a master's degree in strategic management from Roehampton University. December, January, there are things being well without any monkey disease arriving in Britain. I will be again enjoying the fruits of another goan, and wearing around, and my wife catching me this side and that side. That's not a problem. You can come back and do even a master's degree in law. In fact, what I'm thinking now, I will pick one of my degrees, go to the university of anywhere, and register and ask them, I want to do law. Now, take one of these, let me do law for 1 year. You do only law for 1 year, express. They award you an L. Now you forfeit. You can forfeit. Because you have, the point that Douglas raised is serious. That you go anywhere and pick a degree. The Constitution does not say which type of degree fits in which type of position. They assume that...
Yes, the Constitution does not say that you should provide evidence of how you obtain this degree. But in instances where it's questionable, then you should produce the evidence of how you got this degree, even if it means producing your transcripts of all the units that you've done. I think that is what Douglas was saying. But the Constitution does not provide for that.
That's why people were saying graduation is the last stage of confirmation of how you got it.
We need to keep those photos of graduations. They're very valuable now. I'm seeing. Okay.
Because you cannot be in that medium graduate. You need OBs. OB. Medium. My internet is playing about. Yeah. Now I understand why.
Okay. It's having more problems there, because I wanted us to move on to another matter now, but I wanted to get Doc's thoughts on, Kalonzo fighting for Mike Sonko. Doc, can you hear me? Very well. So let's move on to another issue that has to do with the preparation of election. On the Standard newspaper, the main headline, warning signs of a supreme battle. Leading presidential contenders are flagging issues that could compromise a free and fair poll and are actively documenting them. in what is seen as gathering evidence that could come in handy if they find themselves challenging the outcome at the Supreme Court. Before we even get into the story, which is on page 6 on the Standard newspaper, Gladwell, what are your thoughts on this?
Miriam, it's funny, but I mean, why would you want to have? In case you get into trouble, or maybe something comes up your way, why would you want to? It's becoming uneasy in Kenya currently with the current politics. It's becoming chaotic now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, short and precise, Douglas.
I didn't get to the point that Gladwell was saying. Gladwell, what are you saying?
Okay, let me just read you what she was responding to.
What was the question?
Yes, let me just bring it to you. On the front page on the Standard newspaper, leading presidential contenders are flagging issues that could compromise a free and fair poll and are actively documenting them in what is seen as gathering evidence that could come in handy if they find themselves challenging the outcome at the Supreme Court. So all these inconsistencies we've been talking about, Doki, and I think we've been very vocal on this platform. These leading contenders, presidential contenders, Azimio side and Kenya Kwanza side, they have been documenting some of these things, some of these legal issues that are rising even in the preparation of this election. So should any one of them find a need to go to the Supreme Court, they will have their evidence ready. Is that a surprise at all?
It is not a surprise, and I think Gladwell was correct to say it is not. Miriam, we have already cancelled this election. And I want to tell you, Kenyans, you have lost this election already. Even if Ruto wins, even if Raila wins, even if whoever wins, we shall have to go back second round. Do you know why? Because of these faults. The fault that Kirimi has just raised. It is there. You include the other people, you will stop the others. You don't tell us that old wine must be mixed with new wine and put in the same cup and drink. A new cloth must be put on my new shirt, my Tanzanian new shirt, new fashion, Tanzanian, and you create Congolese and put on me and say, go ahead. Corrupt people have been allowed, Miriam, have been allowed to come and go. The DPP says, go, everybody go in, go. The EACC says no, 241 are in chaos.
Should not be going. Yeah.
Yes, and Chebukati tells people, writes to EACC, I want you to clear this, to get me a report of each of these.
That you've cleared them. And the EACC said they should not even be cleared. Did we not say this will be a problem, Doc, from the get-go?
I have asked you one question, Gladwell, and I want to ask you, Gladwell. You go and look for a job in Safaricom. You have been working in Airtel as a chief accountant, and you want to look for a job as an accountant in Safaricom, and tell the people in Safaricom that don't worry. While I was in Airtel, I had a case where 200 million got lost, but it is going to be sorted by the court. But I am now the most eligible thief who can actually handle this money of Safaricom. Gladwell, will Safaricom give you the job?
Doc, let's call a spade here. Well, no, they won't give you a job. But you'll find some of those managers wanting to give you the job. But initially, you're not supposed to be given the job. That is the Kenya we are in. Corruption, whereby the top people have a voice in Kenya and the others suffer. But yes, you're not supposed to be given the job because at the end of it, or you're still corrupt. And you have not been clean. The money has not been returned yet.
Exactly. So for me, and I want to promise you, Miriam, Friday, I'm going to fall into a swimming pool. and swim with you.
Before you fall into a swimming pool, Doc, just to add on what Gladwell has said, in matter of fact, in some of these jobs now, even in other parastatals, you must have a clearance from the police you must have a certificate of good conduct. Why can't we have on these people that are going to represent us there? Why are we making it so easy for them?
First of all, who is going to issue the certificate of good conduct?
DCI. Sinyuko inapatikana.
The DCI are on strike.
They better not. People are being, mugged at night and all that. We need them very active.
My dear Miriam, please be careful. DCI is on strike. A court order bade DCI to do anything.
But they're not on strike. As a people of service, they cannot.
Not on strike. The court order has told them you should not collect evidence. Maybe when the president went to open the lab, the scientific lab, maybe he talked to Kinoti, has now cooled down, maybe. But DCI are literally in this country are not taking statements. So if you are going to be beaten, be careful to defend yourself there and then. Hakuna mambo ya kuingia polisi. Mtu anakupiga unasema naenda polisi. Police are not recording your statements.
Sasa twende wapi? ODPP.
Just go to the grave. Because honestly, people messed now there is that mess. Yeah. This whole problem, listen, Miriam, this whole problem started, and you are one of the people who has been saying it here on this television.
I've been reporting it. 6
months ago, we were supposed to have a voters register in our hands, not us to look for it on our phones. Mumesikia? Mama Mboga outside there, where will he get money to put in to ring for this number, which is not free? Chebukati missed that deadline. 9 months ago, fundraising for individuals for politics was banned. Harambees were stopped. Isn't it? Am I telling you a lie? Mr. Moses Kuria is holding a fundraising for his gubernatorial race. And he has got a card, he has printed it, that come for my fundraising dinner tonight. Sorry. Are we, Miriam, are we not performing an illegality? We are already in an election of an illegality. You get my point? Silent illegality and idle illegality. I told you, Chebukati is using those terms to tell Kenyans this election is going to be free and fair. How can it be free and fair? Can I ask you another question? And maybe experts like Douglas and Gladwell and Miriam, you will tell me which signatures were dead, alive, fake. You will not see that Chebukati says he wants 48,000 signatures. But the signatures as we stand today, Miriam, as you sit there, they have not been verified.
And that's what these presidential candidates are documenting, I think.
Yes. So, for the first time, Wakenya tuko wajinga. We are now going to go into an election, Gladwell and Miriam and Karimi. You know in this election you have lost your money.
So some of these signatures could be for the dead people.
Exactly. Now you are talking. Now, you know what Chebukati should have done? It is hour to 54. Allow them.
10.
I'm telling you, the 54 are going to bring down this election. The people that Chebukati eliminated from this race. Because someone will go into what you call signatures and find marijuana instead of signatures. So that will be very, very serious. That's the way I'm seeing it.
And Doc, the point you're raising is very, very serious, and these are very substantial grounds that can really affect the integrity of this election. Because how, from what register was the IEBC double checking these names that were submitted to them by these candidates for them to be cleared? How did they know whether these names are from the dead people or from the people who used the wrong documents to register, or are from the people who registered, did double registration? How did he know? Because he did not have the register, the clean register to counter check upon. So this is very fertile ground for an interesting legal case that will and might come after the elections, or even soon, before even we go for elections. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on this, Douglas? Gladwell?
Have you seen another bombshell?
Who died? Okay, Gladwell, you can come in. Oh, all right. You want to say something?
There's a very serious bombshell. Are you not addressing this? Miriam,
What happened?
breaking news. Commission of University Education. Revocation of recognition of your degree. They have revoked Mr. Sakaja's degree. Breaking news. Haven't you seen it?
It has not been shared with me, but...
Technical team, IT, share it with Miriam now.
Yes, it's here. The letter
Aha!
from the Commission of
You are there
University
with good
Education.
eyes. Read it for me as I drink my tea. Voila!
This is a revocation of recognition of your degree. This is in reference to our letter dated 6th June 2022 on institutional accreditation of Team University that awarded you a degree, Bachelor of Science in Management, external. The Commission for University Education has, however, received material information about the authenticity of the degree you presented from Team University that will require further investigation to ascertain the validity of the said degree certificate. Consequently, in accordance to CUE, that is the Commission for University Education recognition procedures, we hereby revoke the recognition of your degree, Bachelor of Science in Management external, from the aforementioned university. Yours sincerely, Professor Chacha Nyaigoti, Chacha PhD, the chairperson of the Commission for University Education. This is well and good, because I think there are very critical questions that were being asked in line with questioning the authenticity of those papers. But still, I think this commission is bringing us chaos now. Of course, together with IEBC not doing its due diligence, this commission is what is giving us the headache that right now we have to deal with a lot of these aspirants who have these questionable papers. So as we throw stones at the IEBC, it does have a lot of blame on its doors, and it has to do its job properly. This commission should stop doing what it has been doing.
Miriam, the cows have come home to roost. So let's drink the milk while it is still hot.
Is it the cows or the chicken? Which one comes home to roost? I'm not sure.
No, I'm saying the cows have come home. Let's milk the milk and drink the milk.
But what comes home to roost? Is this the cows or the chicken?
The chicken.
Yes.
The chicken come home to roost, but now I've said cows have come home for milking. You know, there's a cow that... Miriam, oh, you are laughing again. My dear, there's a cow. When I was doing the Uganda peace process, Gladwell and Douglas and Miriam, Museveni's people went to Teso and stole people's cows, the soldiers, and put them on lorries, took them to Kampala by train. Now, the owner of the cow cried, and it is a big headline in the newspaper. I will show you one of the cuttings. Those days, when we were doing the peace process, this man was alive. He brought his complaint in Juba and said, to be our witness, he said, they stole my cow that used to take me to the market and follow me to the market. So what the man did, he went to Kampala near the railway station. Miriam, the cow were in the shed. The cows got out of the shed. The cows started walking in the city of Kampala, following the man. Museveni ordered for those people who had stolen those cows to be arrested. So when I say the cows have come for milking, these ones are milking. This argument, I have avoided it. I don't want to be party because Sakaja is my son. I've done it, said it like Atwoli said. He's my son, so I don't want to be involved. Let the cause start causing, coming like this. It is a sad story. But coming back to the point that we had, Miriam, you have a case. There is a case for nullification of this election. So the best thing is that if, that's what I was telling some people on TV this morning, if necessity has no law nullifying these elections, I just postpone it. Necessity has no law. It's necessary, you know you are going to die or you are going to have a war. Do you wait until you have a war, then you say, we shall now postpone when the war comes? When you are preparing for war. That is my assertion.
Mm-hmm. And Doc, we have to blame this commission for University of Education. There's a reason why it is part of this clearance process. So if it's failing to do its job, it's also adding to the chaos that we're already seeing from the political class. I mean, rechecking some of these certificates cannot be that hard. And there's a reason why these papers are forwarded to them, for them to do the background check, because that is their job. So if they're failing to do their job, then that exposes a lot of faulty, areas that we've seen in the preparation of this election, and that should be a cause for worry to all of us.
It is indeed, my dear. But what can you do? That's what all institutions in Kenya are doing. It's a cause for worry everywhere. There is a commission for fire extinguishers. Miriam,
we have new fire engines.
Yeah, and the fire. For example, you have a fire engine that has no water, and the people earn the salary for filling the water on standby in those engines every day. Whom do you blame now? Let's blame ourselves. Moral integrity is gone. It's dead. We have done. Thank you.
Okay, so perhaps last words from Kirago. Maybe they'd want to say something on that, or Douglas, and then Kirago was to come in, and then Douglas, and then we can take a break and come back with the other show. Kirago and Gladwell, go ahead.
Miriam, I agree with what Doc has said, and also agree with what you've said. You know, these institutions are also now part of the chaos and making things, tough, because there's a reason as to why they're also part of the clearance part too. So there's no way after, let's say, what people are going through the struggle to prove that they were in particular institution, and then the institution itself is quiet. How do you expect people to believe? So I think it's high time also they also need to act swift. If somebody claims that, for example, I was in KU and I did my mass communication there, if I need to clear that I was there, the institution should come in first and say, yes, she was a student here. Another institution should also say, maybe so and so was a student here, to avoid this confusion that they're confusing us. Again, with the IEBC, Miriam, if they decide to clear you, that means they have enough proof that maybe you're in this institution and you did your master's, or maybe you did your degree, whatever you did, or you did your diploma. But at the same time, they can't clear you. Then when somebody else goes and says that so-and-so was not in this institution, the IEBC itself is also confused. I mean, why did you clear the person at the first time? That means also IBC is failing in terms of they are incompetent, they are not transparent. And I always say, if they are not being transparent with actually these just major minor things, then what will happen with the election? Then it will become chaotic, not transparency. They should have started it a long time ago. When you clear somebody, that means that I trust the person that so and so did so and so. And if you are asked, then you'll prove that yes, for example, Sakaja went to school. You have that evidence as the IEBC, the body itself. But what happened? Now you can see Wafula saying that I've given Sakaja up to noon to provide. Then why did you clear the person at the first place? So that means also IEBC is also failing in part of transparency and other things. We need to be careful, and they also need to be careful more so with this election.
Okay, Douglas. I don't know if Douglas. Okay, go ahead, Douglas. We can't hear you. We seem to be having a bit of a problem with the reception from Douglas's side. Doc, do we take a break and then we come back? With
You are saying, Miriam?
I wanted to hear the final submissions from Douglas, but we seem to be having a bit of a connection problem from his side, so I can't really hear him, but I can see he's present there. So maybe we take a break and then we come back with our next show, where we shall be looking at the issue of ICC and the new development in line with the lawyer Paul Gisheru's case.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in a short bit.